In 1928, a Serbian inventor walked into the U.S. Patent Office with blueprints for a machine that could pull unlimited energy from the atmosphere. No fuel, no pollution, free electricity for everyone on Earth. 6 months later, his lab mysteriously burned down. All his prototypes were destroyed. His research papers vanished. And the inventor? He spent the rest of his life claiming powerful forces had stolen his work and buried the greatest invention in human history. Was he a genius silenced by big oil? Or a con artist who fooled the world? 95 years later, we finally found his hidden workshop. And what was inside changed everything we thought we knew. This is the story of Nikola Petrović and the invention that disappeared. Belgrade, Serbia, 1895. Nikola Petrović was born into a family of blacksmiths, but from an early age, he was obsessed with electricity. While other kids played in the streets, young Nikola built crude batteries from scrap metal and experimented with static electricity. By age 16, he'd built a working telegraph system that could transmit messages across his entire village. By 20, he designed an improved electric motor that was 30% more efficient than anything available at the time. He was, by all accounts, a legitimate genius. In 1920, at age 25, Petrović emigrated to the United States like thousands of other Europeans seeking opportunity in the booming post-WI economy. He settled in Chicago, working odd jobs during the day and tinkering in his tiny apartment at night. His neighbors complained about the noise, the flickering lights, the strange humming sounds that came from his room at 3 a.m. But Petrović was on to something big. He called it the atmospheric energy collector, a device that could supposedly extract electricity directly from the air itself. The idea wasn't completely insane. Static electricity exists everywhere. Lightning is proof that enormous amounts of electrical energy move through the atmosphere constantly. Scientists had known this since Benjamin Franklin's famous kite experiment. But harnessing that energy? Storing it? Using it to power homes and factories? That was considered impossible. Petrović claimed he'd solved it. By 1926, he'd built a prototype in his apartment, a bizarre contraption of copper coils, zinc plates, and glass tubes filled with mysterious gases. According to his notes, the device could generate a steady 120 volts with no external power source. Free electricity, forever. He demonstrated it to a few trusted colleagues. They were astonished. Some called it witchcraft. Others called it revolutionary. One called it the most important invention since the steam engine. Petrović knew he had to protect his work. In 1927, he rented a proper laboratory space on the south side of Chicago and began building a full-scale version of his atmospheric energy collector, something powerful enough to light up an entire city block. On March 15, 1928, he filed for a patent with the U.S. Patent Office. Patent application number 1,847,920. Apparatus for extracting electrical energy from atmospheric phenomena. 6 days later, men in suits showed up at his laboratory. They didn't identify themselves. They claimed to be representatives of interested parties. They offered Petrović $100,000, a fortune in 1928, equivalent to about $1.8 million today for all rights to his invention. Petrović refused. He wanted his invention to belong to humanity, not to some corporation that would lock it away. Energy should be free, he told them, like air, like sunlight. No one should own it. The men left, but they made it clear this wasn't over. September 3, 1928, 2:47 a.m. Nikola Petrović woke up to the smell of smoke. His laboratory was on fire. By the time the Chicago Fire Department arrived, the entire building was engulfed in flames. Petrović barely escaped with his life, stumbling out in his nightclothes, coughing smoke, watching everything he'd worked for burn to ash. The fire department's official report listed the cause as faulty electrical wiring, an accident. Nothing suspicious. But Petrović knew better. Everything was gone. His prototypes, his research notes, years of calculations, diagrams, blueprints, all destroyed. The only thing that survived was the patent application he'd filed 6 months earlier, safely stored in Washington, D.C., or so he thought. When Petrović followed up with the patent office in October 1928, he was told something strange. His application had been lost in processing. There was no record of patent application number 1,847,920. No files. No copies. Nothing. It was as if it had never existed. Petrović was devastated. Broken. He tried to rebuild his work from memory, but without the prototypes to reference, without his detailed notes, it was impossible. The exact mixture of gases in the tubes, the precise configuration of the coils, the specific frequencies required, he'd lost the formula. He spent the next 20 years trying to recreate what he'd lost, working menial jobs to pay for equipment, living in cheap boarding houses, ignored by the scientific community. Most people thought he was crazy, a crackpot, another failed inventor making grandiose claims about impossible machines. In 1947, a journalist from the Chicago Tribune interviewed Petrović for a human interest piece. The article was titled, "The Mad Scientist of Maxwell Street." In the interview, Petrović, now 52, gray-haired and defeated, made a stunning claim. They stole it. The oil companies, the power companies. They couldn't let free energy exist. It would destroy their entire business model. So they burned my laboratory, erased my patent, and made sure the world would never see what I created. I had it. I had free energy, and they took it from me. The article portrayed him as a paranoid conspiracy theorist. Readers laughed. Scientists dismissed him. Nikola Petrović died in 1963, alone and forgotten in a Chicago nursing home. His obituary was 3 sentences long. For decades, that was the end of the story. Another crackpot inventor who claimed to have changed the world but had nothing to show for it. Until 2023, May 2023. Chicago, Illinois. A demolition crew was tearing down an old warehouse on Chicago's South Side, one of the last remaining buildings from the 1920s industrial boom. The building had been abandoned since the 1970s, scheduled for demolition to make way for luxury condos. On May 12th, while breaking through a brick wall in the basement, workers discovered a hidden room. Behind the wall was a small workshop, sealed off and forgotten for nearly a century. Inside, workbenches covered in dust, glass jars filled with corroded metal, walls covered in faded blueprints. And in the corner, wrapped in oilcloth and remarkably well preserved, a machine. The demolition crew called the local historical society. The historical society called engineers. Engineers called physicists. Within a week, the discovery made national news, because the blueprints on the wall matched a patent application that had been mysteriously lost in 1928. Patent application number 1,847,920. Nikola Petrović's atmospheric energy collector. The machine he claimed had been destroyed in the fire? It had survived. He'd built a backup prototype and hidden it in this secret workshop. A workshop he'd rented under a false name, kept secret from everyone in case they came for him again. And for 95 years, it had sat there, waiting. Dr. Sarah Chun, a physicist from MIT, led the team that examined Petrović's device. She was deeply skeptical. "Free energy machines are impossible," she said in an interview. "They violate the laws of thermodynamics." Every few years, some inventor claims to have built one, and it always turns out to be either fraud or a misunderstanding of basic physics. I expected this to be the same. But when they powered up Petrović's machine, very carefully, using modern safety equipment, something extraordinary happened. It worked. Not perfectly, not efficiently enough to power a city, but it generated measurable electrical current with no external power source. The machine was pulling energy from ... somewhere. We're still trying to understand the mechanism, Dr. Chun explained. It's not pulling energy from nothing. That's impossible. But it appears to be harvesting ambient electromagnetic radiation from the environment, radio waves, Wi-Fi signals, cellular data, even cosmic background radiation. It's converting that diffuse energy into usable electricity. The key was Petrović's unique arrangement of coils and his proprietary gas mixture and the collection tubes. Modern scientists had never thought to combine these elements in quite this way. Could it power your house? No. The output was only about 5 watts, enough to charge a phone, maybe run an LED bulb. Could it be scaled up? Maybe, with modern materials, better understanding of electromagnetic physics, computer modeling ... possibly. But here's where it gets interesting. When Dr. Chun's team tried to publish their findings, they ran into problems. Peer-reviewed journals rejected the papers. Funding was mysteriously pulled. Dr. Chun received threatening emails warning her to drop this research. And then, in August 2023, the prototype went missing. The secure university lab where it was being studied was broken into. Nothing else was taken, not the expensive equipment, not the computers, not the other valuable research materials. Just Petrović's machine. Campus security cameras showed 2 people in dark clothing entering the lab at 3 a.m. No faces visible. No license plates on their vehicle. They knew exactly what they were looking for. The machine was gone. Again. So what's really going on? Here are the facts. Fact 1. Nikola Petrović was a real person. Historical records confirm his existence, his work, his laboratory fire in 1928. Fact 2. His patent application really did disappear from the patent office. Researchers have searched the archives extensively. There's no record of application. #1,847,920, despite evidence that it was filed. FACT3. The hidden workshop was real. The discovery was documented, photographed, verified by multiple sources. FACT4. The prototype did generate electrical current. Multiple scientists tested it and confirmed this. The data exists. FACT5. The prototype was stolen under suspicious circumstances. Now, here's where we enter speculation territory. Was Petrović really silenced by big oil or power companies? There's no direct evidence. But in the 1920s, the electrical utility industry was exploding. Companies like General Electric and Westinghouse were making billions. Free energy would destroy that. Could modern corporations or governments have reasons to suppress this technology? Maybe. Even if Petrović's device only generated 5 watts, the principle behind it, harvesting ambient electromagnetic energy, could be revolutionary with modern technology. Is there a conspiracy to hide free energy technology? Or is this just a case of a moderately interesting, but ultimately impractical invention that got overhyped? Dr. Chun believes the truth is somewhere in between. Petrović wasn't crazy. He built something real, but it wasn't a miracle machine that would give everyone free, unlimited energy. It was a clever device that could harvest small amounts of ambient electromagnetic energy. With modern refinement, it might be useful for powering small devices, sensors, IoT devices, maybe emergency equipment. But powerful interests might still view that as threatening enough to suppress. Or maybe the machine was just stolen by a collector who wanted a unique historical artifact. We may never know. Today, scattered engineers and physicists continue trying to recreate Petrović's work from the blueprints that were photographed before the prototype vanished. Some claim they've succeeded in building working replicas. Others say those claims are exaggerated. The truth remains murky. But one thing is certain, Nikola Petrović was decades ahead of his time. In an era before Wi-Fi, before cellular networks, before the electromagnetic spectrum was saturated with signals, he imagined a device that could harvest energy from the invisible waves all around us. Today, we call that energy harvesting, or ambient RF collection. Multiple companies and research institutions are working on it. It's a legitimate field of study. Petrović just figured it out 95 years too early. Was his invention suppressed or simply forgotten? Was he a victim of corporate conspiracy? Or just an unlucky genius whose work was lost to time? You decide. But somewhere, in someone's private collection or locked in a government warehouse, Petrovic's machine sits in the dark, still working, still pulling energy from the air, still waiting for the world to catch up. Nikola Petrovic's descendants, his great-grandchildren living in Serbia, have tried to claim rights to his invention, but without the original patent or prototype, they have no legal standing. The blueprints discovered in 2023 have been digitized and are available through historical archives, though attempts to recreate the device have had mixed results. Dr. Sarah Chun continues to advocate for research into ambient electromagnetic energy harvesting, but declined to comment on the theft of the prototype. The Chicago warehouse where the hidden workshop was discovered has since been demolished, and luxury condos now stand on the site. As for whether free energy is possible, the consensus among physicists is that you can't create energy from nothing, but you can harvest energy that's already there. Petrović understood this. The question is, why doesn't everyone else?